Not every. I mean, it's below 40 or something. It's now winter. Yes, 17th of December, and at this moment there is a cold front coming from in the direction of Siberia. Well, in Siberia it freezes, yeah, and it doesn't freeze a little bit. No, it freezes 80 degrees Celsius, something about 70, 80 degrees Celsius. Well, if the world temperature increases about 10 degrees Celsius, yeah, then maybe it freezes there only about 50 to 60 or 70 degrees, yeah. Okay, so a lot of ice will not melt, yeah, even if you rise the temperature for quite a bit, yeah. So that's no problem. So not all the ice on the world will melt if you increase the temperature a bit, say 10 degrees. Yeah. And if it melts, you can use it for the plants if you allow them to grow. Yeah. So CO2 increase problem is not a real problem, I think. Yeah. It can solve a whole lot of problems. Yeah. And that's why I think this message is quite important. You can increase the food production in this world. Yeah, increased CO2 levels will create a possibility to increase food production in this world. There's a lot of land which can be used if the temperature rises for food and forest production. Yeah. So there are lots of deserts in this world. If the temperature is increased and the CO2 level is increased, yeah, then a lot of deserts can be turned back into forests again, reducing the CO2 level and reducing the water level. Yeah? So you can turn the deserts into forest and agricultural land. Yeah? You have the Sahara, you got the Gobi Desert, you got all kinds of deserts in this world which can be turned into forests and to agricultural land again, back again. Because in the desert or in the Sahara there are signs that it used to be a forest once, about a couple of thousand years ago, shortly after the flood. Yeah. So you can turn them back again into forests. In Israel, they are getting back the Negev desert into forest. They are trying to grow it again. Yeah. Okay, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of money, but it's technically possible. Yeah. I mean, in this state of being as in our world situation right now, it is technically possible to reforest the deserts. Yeah, it is possible. In Israel they are doing it. Yeah. There is another problem. We have to stop in solving this CO2 problem. We have to do some things as human beings if we want to turn the tide for this matter. We have to stop cutting trees. Yeah. Oh, but that hurts the industrial thing about tree cutting and making matches and so on. And no, it will be only temporarily, because if you want to reduce the CO2 problem, you can grow forest, which you can do it in a controlled way, so that you don't need to stop cutting trees forever. I mean, if you grow back forests, then you will also have increased wood production. Yeah. So, but you have to stop it for temporarily in the Amazon and so on and so on. And so you create a problem. No, you create a possible increased wood production. Yeah, wood is carbon dioxide put into mass. Yeah. Trees are doing that, forests are doing that. Yeah? But stop cutting trees for the moment, yeah? Or reduce it. Yeah? I mean, the Amazon, every day some baseball fields full, or football fields full, are cut per day. Yeah? Stop doing that. Yeah, give the nature the chance to absorb the CO2, because otherwise you get an Easter Island problem. Yesterday I was watching television on some friends. I don't have a television here, channels here, but at some friends I see Discovery Channel or National Geographic about the Easter Island problem. Yeah, what was happening is they cut down the palm trees. It used to be a grown over island. It was like a paradise, a small paradise. But what those people think, they had to create statues for the deceased ancestors. Silly idea. But okay, that's what they thought back then. And they cut down trees, the palm trees, to transport those stones. Yeah. And but what they also did was deforest them, that island. So they created a problem for themselves. They cut down the food supply, and they cut down the living conditions for themselves. Yeah, so if they and also the possibility to flee and to build boats and so on. So in the end they had a problem, and with it came another problem, and it was rats. Yeah, and they also eat down all the food, and they increased. Some people came to that Easter Island, and apparently without knowing it, brought some rats with it, and they multiplied explosively. So they created the problem, and they killed themselves, leaving the statues and no tree on the island. Well, we are at this moment we are in the same situation, yeah, more or less. So we should learn from history what happened back then. Don't cut down the trees all, yeah, because you create a problem. So, well, in this world we have another problem, and that is a food problem. Millions, really millions of people are starving. Yeah, that's a huge problem. That's a huge, huge problem. Yeah. It's not necessary that people are starving. It's really unnecessary. Yeah. Lots of land in this world is desert. You can turn them into forests and into agricultural land so that nobody has to starve. So the CO2 problem in this world is not really a problem. No, it's the solution to many other problems. It can be a solution to other problems. Yeah, and it is food supply. Yeah, and evenly distributed wealth. Yeah, I mean the real problem of the CO2 problem is not the CO2 problem itself, increasing CO2. No, there is another problem in this world, and that is money and power lusts. Yeah, people are not willing to share the technology and the features of the growing land and agricultural thing to Africa, to Asia, to South America, and so on. No, the rich people on this planet, they want the power and the money for themselves. Yeah, because there is no CO2 problem if you use that CO2 for growing plants and growing food. If you let nature do its job, yeah, then there is no food problem anymore, and there is no rising of water because plants use water. If you grow this whole planet with a lot of plants and so on, and trees, there is no CO2 problem, there is no water rising problem, and there is no food problem. Yeah, so stop cutting down the trees for at least a while, for at least maybe 50 years or a century. Yeah. And then there is no CO2 problem, and there is no problem of food. You can feed every mouth on this earth, and maybe 10 times over, yeah, if you take the right actions. Yeah. The ice caps and so on, it will not melt entirely. Yeah, they will melt maybe. Okay, so what? Yeah, let it melt for a while. Yeah, but then you have better conditions for your plant growing and agricultural problems.